Good morning. It's Wednesday and it's time for our daily devotion. We're back in Matthew this week after a several month break. We're in Matthew 23, Matthew 21, 22, and 23. I'm presenting as kind of a package. It's after the triumphal entry. Jesus is in Jerusalem for what is the final week on earth for him. And there are a number of things that he wants to say. In these three chapters, there is um, it's a clash of establishments. That's how we've talked about it. It's the religious leaders who are already there before Jesus ever came, coming at Jesus hard, and Jesus returning with questions and statements of his own. Chapter 21 was a bit of jockeying, and then chapter 22 was sort of in a boxing match. The middle rounds, if it's a long match, the middle rounds are basically wearing each other down, learning about each other, that kind of stuff. That was kind of chapter 22. Chapter 23, Jesus takes charge and says, "This is the way it is." And we heard yesterday some pretty hard things that Jesus said, made us wince a little bit, at least me. Today it's no different. Chapter 21 Chapters 21, 22, 23 probably should be read all together. You can't do that in a 5 to 8 minute devotion, so that's why we split them up. So let's get right into listening to verses 25 through 36 of Matthew 23. How terrible it will be for you legal experts and Pharisees, hypocrites! You clean the outside of the cup and plate, but inside they're full of violence and pleasure-seeking. Blind Pharisee, first clean the inside of the cup so that the outside of the cup will be clean too. How terrible it will be for you, legal experts and Pharisees, hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs. You look beautiful on the outside, but inside they are full of dead bones and all kinds of filth. In the same way, you look righteous to people, but inside you are full of pretense and rebellion. How terrible it will be for you, legal experts and Pharisees, hypocrites! You build tombs for the prophets and decorate the graves of the righteous. You say, if we had lived in our ancestors' days, we wouldn't have joined them in killing the prophets. You testify against yourselves that you are children of those who murdered the prophets. Go ahead, complete what your ancestors did. You snakes, you children of snakes, how will you be able to escape the judgment of hell? Oof. Therefore, look, I'm sending you prophets, wise people, legal experts. Some of them you will kill and crucify, and some you will beat in your synagogues and chase from city to city. Therefore, upon you will come all the righteous blood that has been poured out on the earth, from the blood of that righteous man Abel to the blood of Zechariah the son of Berechiah, whom you killed between the temple and the altar. I assure you that all these things will come upon this generation. Jesus uses this generation, when he talks about the religious establishment, the religious leaders, and the way that they've misappropriated things for power and control and good looks. Not pretty good looks, but looking honorable in society, those kinds of things. Those are some pretty tough verses. The question in the devotion aims at what Jesus meant, who Jesus was talking about those prophets, wise people, and I got rid of the text from my screen, so I don't remember the third thing. um, and and who they were, and why did he send them, and what happened to them. Kind of might help frame the whole early Christian history, really, if you're looking into it. But you saw in there that Jesus. The part of the judgment is he's putting the blame, essentially, in some way at least, from the very first murder of a righteous person, Abel. That's way back in Genesis 4. And the killing of Zechariah, which would be right at the end of what we understand as the Old Testament. So the whole of what we have as the history of the faith before Jesus, all of the bad things that happened that the people did, laying on this generation, the generation of religious establishment leaders who would not see uh, uh, what God really wanted. It's pretty tough. I found a song in our in the new hymnal that our denomination has given out. Well, given. um, the This is called "Who Will Speak a Word of Warning," and in the index of the hymnal, it actually points this. It actually points Matthew 23 to this one song, and so I looked at it. I liked the song, and here it is. It's hard. It asks some hard questions. All right. Ba 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 ba. Who? It might be a little low. Ba 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 ba. Who will speak a word of warning to a world whose wealth expands as the growing wealth is gathered into ever fewer hands? Christ, you speak a word of warning for the church to know and tell. Greed is death and life is giving. Hands that give receive as well. Who will speak a word of wisdom to a world where truth gives way, as the claims of power and privilege shift and shape the truth each day? Christ, you speak a word of wisdom for the church to heed and share. Truth is not the claims of power. Truth is hurt and hope and prayer. Who will speak a word of welcome to the greatest and the least, calling those with power and service, calling all to share the feast? Christ, you speak a word of welcome for the church to tell and live. All who hunger, come, be seated. Take what Christ is here to give.